Variable scope. It's important to understand the concept of variable scope, where in your code your variable is available in JavaScript. The location of your variable declaration decides where it can be used in your code. There are two types of variable scopes, global and local. When you declare a variable in the root of your script outside any function, it becomes a global variable. You can access it from anywhere within the script. That means you can use it, update its value, do whatever you want with it in both the root of the script and inside functions. And when you declare a variable inside a function, it becomes a local variable. This variable is only available as long as you are inside a function. So if you try to call it from outside the function, you get an error. Large number of JavaScript errors are caused by losing track of the scope of variables. Most common error is developer tries to call a local variable outside its scope and things go wrong. So this is one reason why we have the return keyword. So we can package up a local value and send it somewhere outside the local scope. Local variables exist only for as long as the function runs and then discarded by the browser. And their names are not reserved globally, so you can use them again and again. So far, we have been using the var keyword to define a variable, and the scope of that variable is decided by where it is defined. Create a variable in the root and its scope is global. Create it inside a function and its scope is local to that function. Now we have two new types of variables. They are const and let. Const is a constant. Once constant is defined, it cannot be changed. Constants can be useful when performing math equations or if you have some value that you don't want to change. Let, on the other hand, is a block scope variable. So a variable with even smaller scope than var. In this code, I have a constant variable called myVar and I have set it to 7. Then I am just calling my variable. So let's save this and see what result we get. We got 7. That's the value of our variable. So far nothing is changed. Now let's try to change the value of constant variable. Say 10 and then run it in the browser. So what will happen? And it gave an error, that assignment to the constant variable, because constants cannot change their values once they are. This is the example for our let. So what I am doing here is I am calling a function that is log scope, and inside that I have declared a variable local var and set it to 7, and then I am calling it, and then I'm just calling our function. So let's see the output. Here I have local var 7. That's the value of our variable. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to add a condition in this function. So here it is if local var, that is always true, and inside that I have another local var and I have assigned it hello. Then I am just calling my variable. So this is the nested local var inside this, and this is log scope local var. Let's just say this log scope local var, and this is nested local var. And if I run this, so I get both nested and log scope local var hello. But I was supposed to get this and this. That means log scope local var should be 7 and nested local var should be hello. But I got both my log scope and nested local var as hello. So why is that happening? So this happened because here local var over here is assigned a value in the main log scope function and then reassign the value in the nested block. Therefore, the value of local var also changes for the entire function scope. So we solve this problem by using let. Instead of declaring a variable here, I will declare this as let local and save, and let's see what happens now. So our log scope local var is 7 and nested local var is hello. So now what let has done over here is it has limited the scope of this variable only to this block and not for the whole function. To summarize, if you need a constant, use const. If you want to limit the scope of variable to just one code block, use let. And if you need a general global or local variable, use var. We have dealt with objects earlier in arrays. So objects are used to create a cluster of related data for something and maybe perform some actions or operations on that data. They also allow us to combine properties and methods for that specific data set in a structured way. Let's understand objects. Small example. Now, our course have bunch of different pieces. So by using an object, we can set up a structure for course data and then create methods to use it. So first, we have created course object here and I have assigned it to a variable var course. And then over here I am just assigning values to its different properties. That's course title, instructor, level, length, and assign the values to each of them. Now at the very bottom over here, I have just retrieved my whole object and its properties by calling the course object. And also I have retrieved its property, that is course title, just by calling it. with a punctuation mark. And now if I run this, so I got my course, all its properties, and the property that I have called was course.title. So here it's the title of my course, that is JavaScript. Here is my shorthand for creating a course. Also my course object contains a method for updating views, that is update views, and it has an anonymous functions that does nothing, just increment our views whenever someone will see it. And here I am just calling that. So earlier my views were 0, and after I run my method, that is course.update views, so my views converted to 1. So this is our whole object that has all the properties of course and a method to update view. Constructors. They are templates for creating objects that we define once and can use them multiple times. Object constructors help us to reduce our work, and we can create multiple different course objects without defining all its properties again. Now let's understand this with a demo. So here is how we make constructor of any object. For that I have started it with a function and named it as course with capital C, that signifies that it is an object, and arguments here will be the properties of our object course. After that, inside the code block, I have used this keyword to refer the current object. This is because we are making new objects and we don't know the names of the objects yet. After that, I have assigned each of the properties inside the object to the matching argument. So here I have assigned title to title, instructor to instructor, and so far. After that, I have done the same I did in previous example. I have a method to update views and also referred it with this keyword, and here used an anonymous function and same incremented views using this keyword. Using this object constructor to create new instances of course. Here is a new order variable called course01 and set it to new course, and after that I have given all the arguments in this order, in the order that were here in our function. So these are my arguments. Those I have assigned it to my new variable var course01. And now if I run this, so here in my console I got my course with different variables with all the properties and their respective values. Also, I can create as many courses I want with this object, this function. So here I have another course, and if I run this, so now I have two different courses with their respective arguments. I can also do some more advanced things like populate an array with course objects. Here I have var courses, and this is now an array containing both the courses separated by a comma. This is an array of course objects, and I will run, so I get the entire array just by calling my course variable over here. I can also call any property of the array just by using array index. So here I have course1, that is the index of second object, and then dot instructor. So after running this, I will get the value of the instructor of second course. Also, I have called the method of second object to update views. Now let's see this. So here I have two different courses, two different identities of course. This is assigned 1 and this is 2. These are the index of this array. Also, we have called the instructor of our first indexed array, that is this, Morton. So we get it here. And I have also updated the views of my array of my course with index 1. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. But I assigned it 5. Now after update, it got 6. I have used dot notation to get access to properties inside objects. First mention object, that is course, followed by dot and then property name. Title, property name, title. We can use bracket notation for same as object name, then bracket, and inside its property name. What is the difference between them? Other than this, we use bracket notation in case we have objects from somewhere or we have an operator inside them. Let's say we have WP image as a property. Now if I will use dot notation, so like course.wp and then colon after that image, so here JavaScript will generate an error because we broke our property here by using colon. Now here bracket notation comes in. When we use bracket notation, we put the property title in a quote and make it a string. So JavaScript will not parse this operator into something else. So we used course square bracket quotes and WP colon image, close quotes and bracket. So to summarize, dot notation is used with named properties. And bracket notation is used when we have to convert a property into a string. Now we have closures. Let's understand them directly by a demo. Here I have a function that is named as do some math, and inside this I have two variables a and b. After that I have a nested function multiply, and within that I have a variable result that holds the value of a multiplies b, and after that I return the result and I am returning multiply inside do some math because it works as a variable for this function. After that, outside here I have another variable, the result, and I have declared and I have assigned my function to that variable. After that I have called that variable over here. So let's run this and see what's the output. So the result is 20 as expected. Now let's understand what is happening here. Here our function multiply is taking the values of these two variables. Those are declared in function toSumMaths. So this is the concept of closures, as it takes the value of variables from function toSumMath and run it inside the another function multiply. As I said, it is a function inside a function that relies on the variables in outside function to work. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button, and if you have something to say, leave a comment.